Hi, and welcome to another episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty, and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the unceded land where this conversation takes place, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. There's a lovely kind of magic when an old neighbourhood pub finds its heartbeat again, and that's exactly what's happened at the Angel of Malvern. After 3 quiet years, the doors are open, the locals are back, and the buzz is real. Downstairs, it's all about elevated pub classics done properly. Brined schnitties, light calamari, housemade sausage rolls, steaks on the grill. While upstairs, a Mediterranean-leaning wine bar and a cocktail lounge are getting ready to shine. I sat down with executive chef Justin North, whose career has taken him from Wellington to Sydney to the kitchens of Le Manoir au Quat Saisons under Raymond Blanc, and then back to Sydney. Justin has always been drawn to the idea of learning from the greats, not just collecting recipes, but understanding the thinking behind them. It's a philosophy that's carried him through his own restaurants, his books, and now into this new chapter at the Angel, where he works closely with head chef Josh Rudd and a young team, bringing skill back into a pub kitchen in a way that feels both grounded and generous. Hi Justin, it's really nice to be here in the Angel.
It's lovely to be here with you, yeah. Very proud of this place. It's been an amazing journey so far.
It's been closed for 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I've driven past here, and to be honest, I thought it was just like an abandoned place that was going to remain some kind of ghost pub.
Well, it's probably felt like that for a few years, but yeah, it's been quite an amazing transformation, as you can see.
Yeah. So when did it start being renovated?
Well, it was part of a broader precinct and a broader development probably 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. And then we really sort of started getting stuck in probably about 9 months ago with this build. So, yeah, and the idea is we just really wanted to restore a beautiful local pub back to the neighbourhood and the community. And I think we've managed to achieve that and just beautify it, but also keep, the original bones and that beautiful architecture that's here. And, of course, deliver some amazing food along the way.
Yeah, it is stunning. And I see that, like, for a Wednesday afternoon, it's there's quite a few people and it's good. Like, and they look pretty settled in.
Yeah, I know, that's it. But it's a beautiful thing with the day, though, because you sort of get people trickling in the afternoon, and then as the day progresses and the real tempo and vibe really lifts, and dinners are really pumping, which is exciting.
Yeah. So there's 3 zones?
Yeah, 3 levels. Yeah, so we're on the ground floor, which is a public bar. Yeah. So we've been open, this is about our 3rd or 4th week now.
Yeah.
And then hopefully by the end of this month, so around the 28th of May, we should get handover from the builders for level 1 and 2. And we're going to have a wine bar and casual eatery, which is Mediterranean inspired, on level 1. So it's about a 100-seat restaurant and a 50 to 60-seat wine bar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then level 2 gets really exciting as well. So that's a cocktail club and music lounge. Okay. And then a private event space as well for sort of up to 60 people. So it's
huge.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah,
wow.
It's amazing. So it's it's been quite the journey.
Yeah,
I wish still a lot to come.
I wish it was my local. Or Melbourne, not so far. Not too far.
No.
So will the food offering be different on this floor as opposed to
very much so. I guess with the public bar, we didn't really want to overcomplicate it. We just sort of did a lot of research in what a good pub is and what it means to the community and giving them really good quality food. And we sort of looked at, your traditional good pub counter meals that people want to come back for time and time again. So we didn't want to lose that. So we really focused on getting those pub classics, getting them right and doing them really, really well, which we can talk a little bit about.
Yeah.
Whereas level 1 with Flores is it's still very casual, very approachable, but it's a little bit more refined in its offer, and we'll have more of a Mediterranean, a bit more contemporary. So it's sort of Mediterranean for an Australian lens.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So what can you get down here in the public bar?
So I guess if you look at the classics, for example, like we've got an amazing snitty, a beautiful parma, great burgers, really good fish and chips. But I guess our USP on that is rather than just getting, boxes of frozen snitties in and chucking them in a deep fryer, we're getting beautiful free-range chicken breast. We're taking the tenders off them and we're using them for fried chicken. And then we're batting out the chicken breast and we're brining it. And then we're crumbing it with our little aromats and panko crumbs, and then deep frying it from there. So the brine really helps to lock in the moist juiciness of a chicken, and you get that wonderful crust on the exterior. So it's sort of it's a snitty on steroids. So
Delicious.
yeah, and I guess it's going. It's not overcomplicating things. It's really going back to giving people what they want, meeting the market where the market is, and giving them a really good quality product, and obviously great drinks as well. Like, you know, the beer sales are obviously fantastic. Wine sales are amazing. The cocktails are incredible. So it's live music, DJs. It's got the whole.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could live here.
Yeah.
And what is on tap? Because I know part of my question is I feel
Yeah.
like there's quite a few. There's a renaissance of the older hotels.
Yeah.
And I know that I've spoken to the guys that are doing the Cherry Tree in Cremorne. And they've had a lot of flack online about people going, oh, I bet you're going to be like just putting on, you know, whatever generic beers.
Well,
what's the...
Yeah, no, but we sort of wanted to give people what they want to drink, to
Yeah.
be honest. So Carlton Draft's the biggest seller here. We've got Guinness by the pint and by the schooner, which is selling really, really well. It's really strong. We've got a Angel Lager too, Bolter and Stone and Wood. So,
Yeah, perfect.
so yeah, and we've also got a few cocktails on tap as well. So we've got
saw an
limoncello
Aperol,
spritz,
yeah.
Aperol spritz. Aperol is flying out the door.
I bet.
It's incredible. And then a beautiful yuzu margarita too. So
Yeah.
there's a real nice sort of cross section. So yeah, and it's, you know, you just see Friday afternoons, and it's Carlton and Palmer all
Yeah,
that on. It's
for
beautiful.
sure.
Yeah.
And what about snacks?
Yeah, so we have fried chicken. We've got beautiful South Australian calamari as well, which we just it's a bit more Mediterranean. Like, it's not the big heavy sort of batter. It's a really light dusting of aromats, and then just quickly flash fried. And we've got house-made sausage rolls as well, which is slow cooked lamb. And then we make our own focaccia bread too, and beautiful dips and all that. So there's a real nice selection of sort of shared snacks and small plates to start with, and then more substantials. And we've got a grill section too, so we have some beautiful O'Connor grain-fed beef as well. So we've sort of got a rump cap on there. We've got eye fillet and a Scotch fillet as well. So which are really popular. So
you're cooking over flame out the back?
No, it's on a traditional gas grill. So we don't have solid fuel. But really good quality product, and just simply presented and beautifully cooked.
Because the door to the kitchen looks quite small, but I'm imagining, I'm hoping for everyone's sake that, is it a big kitchen or is it a small kitchen?
It's fit for purpose, let's say. I wouldn't say it's massive, but it's certainly not small. It's a really good size.
Yeah.
On the busy nights, we'll probably have about 6 chefs in there working the line.
Okay.
Yeah, so it gets pumping. Really,
Is that
really does.
served upstairs as well?
No.
Oh.
No, we've got 3 levels, 3 kitchens. So, yeah.
What a dream.
Well, the main kitchen will sort of be on level 1, where we do flores and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there'll be a lot of crossover too.
Yeah.
With prep and everything. So, yeah.
And so Flores Mediterranean, that's how great. How there's so many options. How do you narrow that down? Does that mean that the menu is going to be ever evolving?
Yeah, no, definitely. And it'll just evolve with not necessarily the hard seasons, but more of the seasonal ingredients. So it won't necessarily, we'll be inspired by great produce. And we're sort of taking a lot of inspiration from, I guess, that beautiful coastline of Spain, southern France, Provençal, where it's a little bit lighter and fresher. And that South Australian, South Italian coast as well. So. And then some nice sort of Portuguese and Spanish flavours through it. Not strong, but just sort of in a subtle way. Just some nice sort of beautiful spice and smoked paprika and a bit of saffron, and just some really lovely sort of aromats through the food. And it'll be a lot more seafood leaning. We've got it's going to be quite theatrical, because we've got a beautiful live charcuterie station where we're going to be shaving meats on the flywheel shaver. We've got crushed ice that we'll be shaving to put under freshly shucked oysters and lovely crudo. But it's this sort of food you just want to eat every lunch and dinner, to be honest.
Sounds like feasting.
Yeah.
So is it shared, or is it can
pretty
be
much
individual?
Whatever way you want to use the menu. Yeah, so we'll have banquet menus and all that as well. So, chefs sharing menus. Obviously, there'll be a lot of snacks in the wine bar too. And so you can have share plates. You can design your own journey, really, and, have entree, main, dessert if you want that more traditional structure. It's...
Oh, I love the sound of that.
Yeah.
That southern coast is my favourite part of the
It's
world.
just beautiful, isn't it? And I think it really suits our Australian climate, and particular our Australian ingredients as well. And it's just it's a lovely way to eat. It's quite light. It's very fresh. It's not overcomplicated. It's just everything's served in such a natural, beautiful way. So
And in terms of, given it's a wine bar, what are the wines going to look like?
Yeah, so it'll be a real mix, like we don't want to overcomplicate things. So we'll definitely have some, some natural wines, some small producers on there, but we'll have a lot of crowd pleasers in it as well. So it's just, I think the key, I believe, with hospitality these days is not trying to overcomplicate what you deliver and just really sort of meeting the market and giving them what they want and just doing a little bit better than anywhere else and really having a good quality product and just making it accessible. So it's easy just to, come and slide at the bar, have a beautiful wine, nice cold beer, well-made cocktail and some beautiful share plates. And it's sort of, it's no less or no more than that, really.
Yeah. Nice. And what is your role here?
Yeah, so I'm sort of across refinery group. So this is our first venue, and we've got many more planned. Josh Rudd's the head chef, so he's head chef of the venue, so he takes care of the day-to-day operations of everything. And Josh and I, we work really closely on the menus together. He does all the hard work, I do all the fun stuff. And I'm based in Sydney, so I sort of come down to. I'm probably going to have to change that now, so I'm based here and travel back to Sydney, but it feels like that sometimes in a lovely way. So it's a great collaboration, and it's an amazing team.
Do you still get on the tools?
Yep, from time to time, definitely. Yeah, I love it. It's a nice balance. It's a really nice sort of creative balance at the moment. So, working through the menus, talking to suppliers, trialling different dishes, doing a lot of development together with Josh, and then doing the odd service from time to time as well. But I think the key to those wonderful partnerships is also getting out of his way a little bit and letting him do his job, and which he does incredibly well. So and
also, I mean, it's a sustainable path for a chef. You can't really I'm just assuming you're sort of around my age that you want to still be involved with, as you say, the creative side of things, but
it's a mentoring side as well, which I really love. I really love that. And it's interesting, and we didn't necessarily think of it like this, but the sort of, I guess, a byproduct of introducing more skill into a pub kitchen, where quite often it's sort of de-skilled for everything being brought in. So, in a roundabout way, by creating a really good quality product, we've ended up being able to educate and train a lot of chefs as well through the process of doing things from scratch and making all our own stocks and sauces from scratch, and instead of packet powdered gravy that a lot of pubs use. So it's really nice to be able to reintroduce that to sort of the pub and dining scene. And
I think people are calling out for cozy, as you say, accessible dining, and I think that's what pubs are. And I mean, pubs are such a cornerstone for Australian neighbourhoods and communities. And I feel like there was, I know there's been pubs around forever, but I feel like there was a bit of a lull where a lot of them were closing and apartment buildings were going in instead. So it's great to know there's an apartment building adjacent, not instead of the Angel.
No, exactly.
So but people also want quality. So I feel like this is what we're seeing, isn't it? And so you've got to really step up to that.
And I know I've used the word a lot, but I think the thing with a pub is it just being accessible to the community. And coming in and using it however you like, and the range in the demographic that we get here is just quite phenomenal. Like, it's catering to every single corner of the community, which is as a pub should be. And by, I think, stripping it back, like we said earlier, and keeping it, raw at its sort of essence of what a good pub is, and not trying to overcomplicate that offer is really, really important. And it's also needs to be reflected in price point too, and because the operating costs, in hospitality businesses these days is astronomical, and it just keeps rising. So it is a balance, but we're sort of quite proud of being able to source really good product, keep the prices nice and approachable for the community too.
That's right. What are you most looking forward to once the Angel's completed and it's all running? What are you looking forward to seeing?
I just love the evolution and the training, and just seeing, it's sort of, wherever you start, you just keep progressing from there and keep tweaking and keep refining things, and that's a really interesting part of the journey, because it's sort of, to me, it's sort of 3 stages. There's all the creative, the setup, the recruitment, all of that side of it. Then there's the real deep training and the excitement and the energy of opening. And then beyond that, you're sort of really listening to the feedback from people, and you don't always get it right, or things don't always turn out exactly how you planned, and so to keep evolving it and keep the community happy and keep listening to what they want to eat and what they want to drink and really responding to that is really, really important.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So I can hear you've got a very cosmopolitan accent. It's not. I don't think it's quite as strong as mine, but I am enjoying hearing some of your vowels. And
thank you.
So you're originally from New Zealand, Aotearoa. Did you always know that you wanted to be a chef?
Probably not always, but I left school when I was about 15 and I did a Polytech or TAFE course in hotel management. And when I did it was sort of about 6 months, and the month that I spent in the kitchen was sort of really, I used to do a lot of art at school and was quite creative there. So I think when I saw that sort of beautiful artistic, creative side of the kitchen, it really sort of resonated with me. So then, the rest was sort of history. I did my apprenticeship in Wellington, New Zealand, and then travelled. I had about a year or so in Australia and Sydney, and then I went to the UK for quite a few years, and then came back and settled in Sydney. And it's been a really amazing journey.
You've worked in some really incredible places, and when I think about, I feel like I've spoken to a few people that have worked at Le Manoir de Quat Saisons, and when you're there, because were you there for 3 years?
Yeah.
Is there a lot of coming and going? Is it somewhere people go for that next level?
Yes.
Learning.
I think what was quite interesting at the time. Now this would have been about 1996 to 99, 2000. So back then, and I had the intention of doing this too, was you sort of want to get a really good resume, and you sort of don't really get those references until you've worked for a year with someone. So you'd see a lot of people come to a Michelin-starred place for pretty much a year to the day and then move on to another one. But with that, you sort of find you get a lovely collection of recipes and you learn a little bit. But until you really spend a good amount of time with a chef, you don't quite get to fully understand their full philosophy. So I was really fortunate. I would say probably after a year to a year and a half, and I had quite a very close relationship with Raymond Blanc, and that still carries on to this day. So we're still in touch, and that's what's that, like 20, 30 years later. So but I guess my point there is to really get inside, and I would sort of recommend this to young chefs as well, to really get inside the head of a great chef and work alongside them for as long as you can, to not just have access to their recipes, but have access to the mind and the thinking that goes on behind it. So then you sort of stop replicating other people's dishes and really start to develop your own philosophy and set of principles through that process. So,
So it seems like a really intentional path, and I know a lot of young people from New Zealand do have a pathway that goes often through Australia and to the UK. When you were starting off your apprenticeship, what did you like about it? What made you think, I'm going to continue with this and I'm going to go on that pathway?
I think just it would probably come down to the creativity and the energy and the constant learning.
Yeah.
It's really weird, I think, in the first, I would say, when you're young, starting at 15, it wasn't probably until I was about 20 or so that I really sort of started to understand what it was all about, because you sort of, you get in there and you're learning as much as you can each day, but you don't quite understand the full concept of everything. And my thinking at the time when I was doing my apprenticeship is that I just wanted to go and work for the best in the world to see how far you could actually take this as a profession, and then work back from that sort of thing. And that's sort of what my journey was about. But it's interesting because it's very, very physical, and it's very, very quite mentally draining as well. But I think because you're sort of not sitting at an office, or, you've really, it's the adrenaline that keeps you going, and the dopamine hit, and the service, and the camaraderie as well. I think there's this really beautiful camaraderie in kitchens, great teamwork, and, in good kitchens, a really good culture. That's another thing that we really want to implement here, and we've got the beauty of doing that with Refinery Group, is really set out what our set of principles are and how we want our culture to be, and like hospitality is all about people, and you need to make happy people and a happy environment for everyone to work in and to really excel and express themselves, and so
how did the Refinery Group come about? Who's it?
So it's Mark Stevens as a founder. Who's also the founder of Kokoda Group as well. So we've been working on a few other projects that were sort of aligned with Kokoda, and then we set up Refinery Group as a hospitality and lifestyle group on the basis of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So when you had that idea of, really wanting to work for a really, top chef, did you ever aim to be a world-class top chef yourself?
I think you always have dreams of doing that, but also I don't quite know if I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do at that time. And I think the beautiful thing about our industry is it's all knowledge-based, right? I think the more knowledge you have, the more freedom you have to be able to create. And, I was really fortunate enough to have my own restaurant at such a young age when I got back. I think I was about 24 or something like that when I first opened it, and maybe 25, but it was very, very young.
Because?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And nothing about business, you just know how to cook, and it was...
I didn't realise you were so young when you opened. That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was an incredible journey, and I think that's what I love about cooking and the kitchen and hospitality in general is you can use that skill set in so many different ways. And, I love what I'm doing now in the capacity of sort of like a culinary advisor to, whether it's Refinery Group or amazing hotels and seeing a lot of luxury lifestyle hotels coming on the market now as well. I find because it sort of takes me back to my roots as doing my apprenticeship in a hotel and, so it's such a diverse and interesting career, but and sort of the world literally is your oyster, in that sense.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm interested because I'm a French teacher as well as a writer. You've written a couple of books, and one of them, I read the blurb, and I'd love to look at the book actually, but it's about demystifying French cuisine. What do you really love about French food?
Oh, there's so much. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to write 3 books, and I guess each one was sort of a real snapshot of where I was at the time.
Yeah.
And sort of to answer your question about the French cuisine, I guess when you do your training, it's all sort of embedded in the French hierarchy and French basics. So I guess that was sort of something I was quite fascinated in. And then I worked for a French chef, for Raymond Blanc, for a long time, and also Liam Tomlin at Bank and Cassis back in the day. He was Irish, but very well versed in French cuisine. So sort of I didn't necessarily seek out that path. It was just a path that I sort of fell into and absolutely love. And the first book I did, which was Quat Saisons to Taste, it was Inspirations and Flavours actually, but it was all about the producers, but it was very unashamedly a snapshot of what we do in the kitchen, and I didn't want to... it was very sort of fine dining recipes, and some of the recipes went for 3 or 4 pages, and it was boning out pig strotters and pig's heads and all these very technical things, but I didn't want to simplify that. I wanted to really showcase that in a book of how to do those things, and knowing that that's not targeted to, the household cook, but a lot of our customers and domestic cooks, although they probably wouldn't try the recipes, were quite fascinated in
the technique
and what went on behind the scenes.
Sure, yeah.
And then, so I guess with French lessons, then it was really going back to look at the basics, and it was, what is a adobe and what is a confit of duck and how to prepare beautiful stocks and beautiful sauces. So it was going back to the basics and in an uncompromising sort of way, and really learning the techniques and trying to educate those techniques. And I think with that, I always feel a responsibility. I was lucky to work for so many good chefs who were very, very open and shared so much knowledge with me, and you sort of feel the custodian of that and wanting to give back through literature or through mentoring other chefs or whatever is a real honour to have. And the last book I did was about family cooking, so it was, sort of food that you cook every night and at home, and I had young kids at the time, so it was sort of the much older kids now. So I guess through that, they're sort of just phases of your life, I think. So, yeah.
Well, I can see from the way that you talk about your staff here at the Angel and the books and so on, you do really love the whole mentoring and passing things on and sharing your knowledge, which is really amazing.
Yeah.
Just to finish, this is the question I usually finish on. What would your advice be to a young person starting out as a chef?
If I'm having conversations with young chefs, I always try and understand what they want from it and where they see themselves in 5 or 10 years' time. and sort of work back from there. It's really hard to sort of give advice if you don't sort of know what they want to do. I think when I was training, it was really one path, and that was, you go into fine dining and you work for it. But it's not necessarily always the way. I mean, the thing I would probably emphasize the most is to find a kitchen where you're first of all happy, you feel comfortable, and you're learning, and there's a really nice energy around that. I think if you're in that sort of environment, then you'll just learn so much more, and it's so exciting to come to work when you're feeling like that, and also to seek out really good chefs and really good mentors along the way. And again, I'll sort of come back to say, like, knowledge is everything. Like, if you've got your basics, and you can really propel yourself from there. Because if you've sort of got lots of ideas but you fall short on your basics, then it's really hard to implement the ideas at a level that customers are going to want to keep returning back to when you get your own place or when you become a head chef or whatever. But yeah. And I think it's also a lot of young chefs, and I was very much like this at the time, it's sort of about you. Whereas I think once you mature a little bit, you realise it's not about you, it's about the consumer and the customer and what they want, and less about impressing other chefs and more about impressing upon the customers and, meeting the market where it is, and taking yourself sort of out of that process a little bit, going to the market, understanding what they want, and then putting your lens on it and running that through. And I think you have a lot more success that way. Yeah.
That's great, thank you.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
so much for your time. I can't wait to come back. I'm already thinking, when can I come back? To the pub, and then once you open that Mediterranean, I'll be here like a shot. It's my heart. Sounds like totally me. So
I come back every week, and the first thing I do is go straight upstairs, and there's always a bit more progress, and half the kitchen's in now, and it's
how exciting.
Exciting. So
Thanks, Justin.
My pleasure. It's good.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Justin North at the Angel of Malvern. You can check out all the goodness on Instagram at the Angel of Malvern, all one word. And if you'd like to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm also on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef, also all one word. You can read this chat online at www.conversationwithachef.com, and of course you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts. I would absolutely love it if you told a friend about my chats. I still think it's the best way to get these delicious stories out into the world. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day and bon appetit.